Yo guys, welcome to the video. So this will hopefully be the start of a new series. Not sure what to call it yet, but we'll figure that one out. So basically, I kind of want to introduce the competitive scene, especially fours, to people a lot more. And ideally, we'll be able to talk to very experienced players, people who play competitively at the highest level. So today, we've got to start with... This name is going to sound funny to pronounce to you guys who don't know it. It's One.
Perfect.
So, three H's?
4 H's.
4 H's, let's get that right. It's with 4 H's and 3 M's and a 1.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people out there, Oscar, a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, my name's One, also known as Oscar. I'm 26 from the UK. I've been playing Orochi since the game's release. And yeah, he's just received a massive rework.
How are you feeling about it? Let's say, just to start with. I know you've only had a short time on him yet.
Initial thoughts, I'm really liking it. It seems like the opinion's quite mixed about it at the moment, in the sense they're not sure because he hasn't been given like a proper opener and stuff. But I think so far, early days, I'm really fond of the changes. I think I like the direction that they're taking him in, and I feel like he's got quite a strong identity within the game now as well.
Where was he before it? Just to contrast that.
So like back, like going early days, he was always in a half decent position because of his top light damage. He was never top tier or near top tier. I would always say he was like middle grounds. Like he was pretty good, but didn't really have a lot going for him. Last season, he was like nerfed into oblivion because his top light was taken down to 22 damage from 32 damage. So it was a big hit for him because he didn't really see any compensation. Like his Riptide was buffed. You see a lot of Orochi's Riptide in, and his Light Deflect was buffed, which was a nice change. But it was a defensive change, and he didn't need any more defensive things. He needed some offense. So yeah, last season he was very weak. He was one of the worst characters, in my opinion, in the roster. But now with the reworks, I feel like he's been bumped up to a solid A tier. I'd say A tier in 1v1, 2v2, and 4v4. I think he's gonna require a bit more fleshing out. People need to get used to his animations a bit more and stuff. But in my opinion, I feel like he's gonna be a solid character to pick all round, really.
Well, it's good to see, more of the cast being available to play with. Like, I think those of us who, let's say, were watching the Fours competitive scene a couple of seasons back, it was basically Nobushi, Shaman, PK, and Lawbringer. And that was it. Like, Nobushi, Shaman, PK, Lawbringer was the Fours comp. And, yeah. I mean, the ones at that time was something like, PK Warlord. And I can't remember who else off the top of my head. PK Warlord Glad.
Shigoki when he had his charge, but that was nerfed quite quickly.
With the game being in like a place where more heroes are, worth taking to a higher level, and there being a lot more variety in play, do you think the competitive scene is in a good position for like new people to start getting into it, either watch or play, or just dip their feet in a few tournaments just to see how that kind of level of play is for them?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of ways in which you can get in contact with people. I know Bodrat is now pretty much the ambassador for 4v4, so people can get in contact with him if they're after people to play with in that sort of environment who want to like try hard and stuff. But I would, with the current state of like all the characters and the way that they're trying to push for reworks of all the older characters, yeah, better time than ever really to start getting involved with it. It's a lot more interesting, a lot more diversity around the roster. See a lot of new things.
I mean, it feels like the general consensus in the current competitive scene in For Honor as well, in Fours particularly, is that it's like very inviting for new players. Like lots of teams are like, or people that I've seen in Discord and things like this, but like, yeah, give it a shot. Like no one's expecting you to win the tournament. People are expecting your team to have a hard time if you're new, and that's normal. But you're going to need to get past that, first initial experience banner.
That's how you learn.
Barrier.
Yeah, you have to lose to learn, really. Like that is the quickest and best way of getting good at a game is to lose. And You got some teams that have been there since the start, have been practicing since the start, so they're gonna have a clear advantage in everyone. But the scene is so fresh still, and there's not a lot of there are not many top people I considered like who could like be proper competitive players. So it's still up for grabs. Like it's anyone's game really. You got a group of friends that want to like get good at a game. For Honor's a perfect game because the devs are putting in so much work and stuff, and there is a scene for it, but there's not many players there at the moment. So definitely a time for people to sort of show up and get good.
Yeah, the time is definitely ripe for new people to come in and give it a shot for sure. Why don't you tell us a bit about your tournament experience? It's predominantly duels, right?
Yeah. So my history is mainly in 1v1 and 2v2 for some time as well. But I was like entering when For Honor was released. I was entering all of the 1v1 tournaments going and stuff, and was playing Orochi religiously for like the first 10 months of the game's life. Like a rocky start because Orochi was quite weak, and there were some like crazy strong characters at the beginning, like Warlord, Orochi, Conqueror before his nerfs. He was like insane. And because you were still feeling the game out, I was like, I've always been quite a self-critical person, so I was always thinking my first couple of losses in tournaments, like, was that me, or was that the fact that like their character seems to have like a clear advantage? And I would usually blame myself. It got to a point where I realized Orochi was pretty poor or pretty mediocre compared to the top characters. But yeah, so I started off rocky, and then I started seeing some success and was getting things down. Was learning matchups quite well. And early days 1v1, it was a case of if your character didn't have any offensive options, you pretty much just stood there and had to react to everything. If you wanted to beat, say, a Warlord or a PK, you'd have to react. You wouldn't be able to beat them proactively if they were a good player, because they could react to all of your offensive options. If everything your character does can be reacted to, then your character is weak as far as the top tier of play goes. So I was a bit of a turtle, but I was getting success. I was winning. I won quite a few tournaments and stuff, 1v1 tournaments, and got to the semi-finals in the 1v1 Hero Series as well. So had some success there.
I mean, you're kind of an Orochi folk hero in a way, kind of, because you've stuck with him so long, along with I believe Bleach as well.
Yeah, Bleach, the American counterpart. Yeah,
Bleach Medicine, the other Orochi across the seas. You're kind of
slightly worse one.
the two OGs on the Orochi. So going forward with the hero, where do you think Orochi is? Like, it's clear, like, your opinion on him in ones. Like, twos is going to be kind of fleshed out a little bit, but I'm more interested in, the main scene, which is fours. Where do you think his role will be in a fours team? I know you haven't got much experience on that yet, but like, your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so we're going to be playing a lot of fours in the coming weeks, so we'll find out more. But my initial thoughts on it, he's going to feel... he's got fast attacks, he's got decent dash attacks, his dash top light tracks, so he's going to be good at interrupting opponents. So like, you got a Raider that's throwing his unblockable or something on a friend of yours who's been parried, or GB, you've got the means to be able to interrupt. So you will feel that role PK feel, which was like basically being a nuisance and interrupting everyone and being a strong 1v1er. Not as much so, but Orochi's kit is going to be more well-rounded. You're going to be a character that can deal with 1vx situations, not like beat or win the fight, but to be able to stall because you've got the tools to do so. You've got good 1v1 pressure tools, so you'll be solid in the 1v1. You'll be solid in team fights because you'll be good at interrupting. You've got good target switch moves. Your Riptide target switch is solid now. So he's going to be one of those guys that's just well balanced, and he like you can do a lot with him. He's not going to like super excel at anything, but he's not going to be weak in anything in the same regard.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing like more heroes in the fours. That's going to be the most interesting aspect of that scene going forward, is definitely that variety of heroes that are like becoming more and more viable, particularly with PK's nerf slash rework slash I don't know, buff to a number of moves that she has. I don't want to get into PK today. I don't want to touch it.
That's another beast.
What advice would you give to either new Orochi players or current ones that want to improve? from your experience. Small bit of advice, nothing major, no big rundown.
Yeah, so I get asked on the stream a lot, like, oh, what can I do to improve my Orochi and stuff? And the first thing I'll say is like fundamentals as far as characters across the board. For Honor is quite unique in the sense that it's sort of a fighting game, but like each character doesn't have like an extensive move list. There's not like pages upon pages of moves that you can do and have access to. So, but where it makes up for that is the fundamentals of the game and the fact that there is this like art of war combat system and the parries and the directions and stuff. And so with any character, you need to, like, if you're relatively new to the game, you need to get blocking down, you need to get parrying down, you need to understand what you can do in what situations and stuff. So in any character, if you're trying to improve on, I would say focus on that first if you're struggling in those aspects.
Okay.
Once you get those, Orochi's like quite he's completely different to what he was pre-rework. What you can do now is be unpredictable. You have access to good chains, like you have like light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy. So what that means is, you say someone's trying to get down your timings and stuff, they block your first couple of attacks, they might be looking to try and parry to punish you on that same attack. And what you can do is like mix it up. You have options to, instead of throwing your light out, your 400 ms light, which is hard to react to begin with, and they're like trying their hardest to react to that indicator, you can mix them up by then switching it to a heavy, which will then likely go through because they're trying to react to a 400 ms timing instead of a 600-700 ms timing. Then if you're worried about that, you can feint that heavy. You land the heavy, they block it, you can then go into your flow, which I love about him now. At your chain finishes, you can dash out of them and continue into another set of moves. So unpredictability, I would say try not to be too telegraphed. You want to mind game your opponent as Orochi. You want to use your tools now. You can actually use your tools. You don't have to stand there and just top light. Like you can Riptide, you can Stone Rush. So that'd be for experienced Orochi players, because they have muscle memory down of like, I mean, usually you'd Riptide because it was a mistake or a misinput. So yeah. Now you intentionally want to do it in certain situations, especially in team fight situations, because a target switch Riptide I think is going to be really big for Orochi. And you want to keep your pressure up with your Storm Rush. I would suggest, if you're like standing right in the face, don't try and Storm Rush, because they can catch you with backdash with a GB, they can catch you with zones, they can catch you with top lights. You can be punished for it heavily as long as they're reacting properly. So spacing, make sure you're spaced right, but pressure with Storm Rush. Yeah, that is Orochi's opener effectively. So
that's a lot of tips. That's a lot of advice. Get all that down, guys. You'll be
sorry.
You'll be pretty good. No, it's all right, man. You got a lot of Orochi knowledge. I'm sure it'll be really, really useful. To finish up, Oscar, could you maybe tell me a little bit about your Twitch channel?
Of course.
How's the streaming going? Stream often? What do you stream and all that?
Yeah, so I stream pretty much strictly for Honor. Like there'll be random instances where there's a single player game that I want to play, so I might stream that too. But like most of the time, it's for Honor. At the moment, I'm streaming Monday to Fridays, usually early to mid-afternoon GMT time, which is UK time. So usually about 3-4 o'clock I start, and I usually finish about 9-10 p.m. GMT, so whatever the time zone is for everyone else. I'm trying to up my streaming as well, so I'm like putting in a lot more time into it, and I want to like start attempting to do YouTube videos and stuff, so get into all that jazz. But yeah, like I've been streaming. I'm known as a 1v1 streamer, but I mean with yourself, we're like trying to put a team together and like get into this 4 scene. So I'm going to be doing a lot more like 4 versus 4 scrims, and what you'll see on my stream will be primarily high level sort of 1v1s, 4v4s, 2v2s, scrim scenarios against top players. So it's not like playing against match-made people, stomping, so we look good. It'll be like matches that are team balanced and stuff, but only because we're playing against the best in the community. And I want to try and keep it at like a high level stream for everyone. Very
nice, man. I'm sure there's a lot people can learn from it. I know I've learned quite a lot watching your streams in the past. I guess with that, guys, thank you very much, Oscar, for your time, man.
Thanks for the opportunity,
and sharing all that knowledge. It's much appreciated. And I'll see you later, guys. Cheers for checking out the video. I hope you found something very helpful. I will leave a link to Oscar's Twitch, or One's Twitch, for you as a pinned comment, and in the as a pinned comment, or in the description, either or both. I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really good competitive stream, and especially if you like Orochi, it's you know, somewhere I highly recommend going.
Thanks,
with
man.
that, guys, I see you later. Have a good one. So long. Bye bye. 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 Bye. So long. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Bye bye. Bye.
So you wanna be hardcore with your hat to the back, talking about the gaps in your raps, but I can't feel that hardcore appeal that you're screaming. Maybe I'm dreaming. This ain't Christopher Williams, still some MC got the feel one. Caps, I got the feel some.